Welcome to A Quest for Metal. Today we are talking about legendary funeral doom band Skepticism. They've just released a new album, Companion, and it was on my end of the month list because it's so goddamn fucking good. But we're going to see where it lands on this list. So they have a couple of albums, about 6 albums altogether, not including like EPs or any live albums, and we're going to rank them from my least favourite to my favourite. Now this is a band... Did you know this is a band? This is the band like some other funeral doom bands where they don't really have a bad album. It just comes down to taste, and that kind of sours a lot of rankings when people say that. But in my opinion, it shouldn't. Do you know why? Because it means choosing one over the other is fucking harder. So lists like these are way harder than some other lists where there's an easy favourite like Our Saint and Last. You know what I mean? So it pains me to put some others on this list, but we gotta do it. So before I get into my list, let me know down below what's your least favourite Skepticism album, what's your most favourite, and how would you rank them down below? And also what's your favourite funeral doom band, because that'll be cool to hear as well. Now, the sound of Skepticism, in my opinion, is like you're at a church or you're at a grand cathedral and there's a funeral happening. Someone's on display, someone's dead on display in a coffin in a grand cathedral, and then Skepticism is like playing in the background on some organs. That's the sound I get from these guys. I fucking love it. No other funeral doom band sounds as funerally as Skepticism. And I know there's a funeral doom band called Funeral, but even they don't sound as funerally as Skepticism. This is the music I'd want to play at my funeral, and there's a specific album which I would choose because it's so perfect. But let's get into my least favourite, which is Ordeal. I know this one's still great, this one's very innovative. This is the album they filmed in front of a live audience, which is stunning for how, how well it sounds. It sounds almost like a studio, but you can notice it. You can notice the blemishes on this one, and it's kind of like a live album, even though it's a studio album. There's 6 new songs on here, but there's two repeats on here. So all that together, I've got to put it last. It's ballsy to do that. I give them credit for it, and the new songs are fucking fantastic. It's just, I wouldn't pick this over any of the other albums. Next up is Farmakon. Farmakon is next, and I know a lot of people really do like this one, and I really love it as well. But it does have a kind of more a clean sound on this one, as opposed to some of the other albums, which I can enjoy, because it does sound different. It does make it a little harder to digest on this album, though, for when you come in. Because I came in through Stormcrowfleet and Aether, and then, worked my way up from there. So this one is a bit jarring to listen to, but not quite as jarring as Ordeal. I like this one a lot more, so I'd definitely choose this one over Ordeal. I love the kind of acoustic parts on the songs in this one, and I love the kind of creepy feel. There's a lot of creepy ass songs on here. So I love the songs on this one. I do enjoy the sound. It's not my favourite. So it is coming here. Next up is Aether. Yeah, I know I just mentioned it as one of the first ones I listened to, but it's not the best. I love it. It's a grand old time. It's a beautiful album, but it's not my favourite. So it does follow on from the sound from Stormcrowfleet, so I'll give it that. It does follow on from the sound, and the songs here are just beautiful. Skepticism somehow managed to make, short funeral doom songs. I don't know how they do it, but they seem to be a master of it, because the short songs on this album, they goddamn slay. The sound is a bit better than the debut, but it still keeps that kind of grand cathedral-esque atmosphere as the debut, which I appreciate. It's quite a varied album, it's quite experimental as well, so I hold it in high regards, but there's still other albums I prefer. Like Companion, the newest one, this comes at number 3 in my ranking, which is kind of crazy that it's just come out. It's number 3 in my ranking, but I love this one. This one is so just different. I like it for that. I mean, the first song is like death doom almost. It's short, punchy, and just one of the heaviest Skepticism songs they've ever done. So I really appreciate it for the stepping out of the comfort zone, because this is a heavy ass fucking song. It then goes into the more traditional Funeral Doom kind of what songs you'd expect from Skepticism, but even then, the tempo on it is kind of, you know, increased a little bit. Some of these songs are shorter, faster, more intense, and punchier. And I just like the breath of fresh air. There is still Funeral Doom on here. I mean, the songs aren't just complete death doom. It is Funeral Doom, but a little bit faster. But when it does get to that doom, it just makes it all the more stand out. So when you have these like shorter, faster, more intense songs like the first song on the album, it just makes the other longer songs stand out even better. So I love it for that. I love the variety on this album. It's gonna be on my end of the year list easily. It's an album I keep playing over and over again. Companion is fantastic, and it's a companion to have by your side on long journeys. So Companion is my number 3. Number 2 is Alloy. I fucking love this album. I didn't expect an album that's kind of later in Skepticism's career to be one of the best and almost knock off my fucking number 1, but holy shit, it almost did. This almost beat the classic. But the classic is the classic, and it's my favourite, and fuck it, we'll get to that. This is so goddamn close though. This is a fucking 10. I adore this album. The sound, yes, is better than the debut. Yep, the production's better. Everything sounds meatier, every instrument sounds better on this one. So, it's really hard. It's really hard. The vocals are less kind of monotone and less low sounding on this one. It is very, just a better produced album overall. With songs like March, October, oh, so goddamn good. And Pendulum, yeah, I adore all the songs in this album. Ally is one of the best around, and I'm going to keep going back to it. But it's not Stormcrowfleet. Stormcrowfleet is my number 1. It's probably the best Funeral Doom album ever made. If I do a top 10 Funeral Doom albums, this one may be top. It may be fucking top. I know I love Call of the Wretched Sea, but it's either number 1 or number 2. I fucking love this album. This is the pinnacle of depression. This is the pinnacle of being at a fucking funeral. If they don't play this when I'm dead, then did they really love me? Did they really fucking love me? Yes, the sound in Alloy and similarly other albums a lot better. Yes, the production's better. The shitty production on this one makes it work 100 times fucking more. Fuck the remaster. No, we want the original. The grimy sounding, it just makes it just more real. It just makes it more depressing, more real. The low kind of vocals, kind of the low sexy vocals like Peter Steele, it's just better on this one. Everything just works. It's like the stars align to make the perfect Funeral Doom album. If you argue otherwise, you're wrong, because this is the best Funeral Doom album. No questions asked. The atmosphere on here is palpable. It's the best atmosphere out of any of the fucking albums. It's the best songs out of any of their albums. It's the best mood, the best feeling. Someone says, what's Funeral Doom? I'll hand them a copy of this because it's the fucking best. And this is the easy pick. I know, it's the cliche one. I don't fucking care. It's the cliche one because it's the best fucking one. I adore this album from start to finish. I love all their albums, but this one is the tippy top of the iceberg. So Stormcrowfleet is my favourite Skepticism album of all time. So hopefully you enjoyed this short kind of ranking. Let me know down below what's your favourite Skepticism album. What ones do you love? What ones do you hate? Do you even like Funeral Doom? Let me know down below and we'll see you again on another quest for metal.